Hello, and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. I'm Tracy, also known as MercyTiara, and I make scrapbooking process videos and more here on my channel. Today, I am using a photo collage and the MTK sketch of the month, which helps this page come together fairly quickly. I'm using the Sunshine Kit from MercyTiara Kits, and one of the things that comes in the newsletter is this little template for making sketches, and I'm actually making a sketch based on the sketch. I'm not going to actually do this, but in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to shrink down the entire sketch and have it be on a larger 12 by 12 paper. But I ended up including so many photos and I wanted them to be big enough that you could really see what was in them. So although my first idea was to have small versions of these photos, I ended up reprinting it at all of the photos and kept them at a larger size here. Now, I do share my process for how I select, edit, and print my photos, and that is shared in real time over on my Patreon. So if you're interested in seeing some of those behind the scenes processes, please feel free to head on over there. The link is in the information section below. These photos, though, are printed at 3 by 3 and 3 by 4.5. And I have 2 of the squares and 2 of the rectangles, which happens to give me exactly what the sketch was looking for. I'm not opposed to modifying the sketch, but in this case, I just happened to have the right photos. So I'm going to arrange them like this, which is the way that the sketch had them, which you can't see, it's up there out of frame, but you'll see it in just a second. There you go. And the only modification I've made is that the section that was supposed to be for journaling, I have included a 4th photo. And this sketch is brought to you by Creative Scrappers, which is always linked in the information section below in all of my videos. Christine Davidson provides us with beautiful sketches every single month, and this is our June sketch challenge. And if you head on over to our Facebook group, which is also linked in the information section below, every month we have a different sketch challenge over on the Facebook group, and a random winner is always selected to win a $25 Canadian gift card to the MTK shop. So it's worth playing along for the inspiration and also the opportunity to win. As you can see, I'm just looking through the papers that I have left from the Sunshine Kit. I have used it a couple of times at this point, but there's still obviously plenty of papers still available. And this one is really appealing to me. I just love this paper. I did use it on my last scrapbook layout, which was actually a double page where I actually replicated this exact piece of paper, but with a variety of different pattern papers. If you didn't see that layout, definitely check out the process video because that was a particularly fun page and interesting as well, I think. So as you can see, I'm just playing around with various ways that I might want to mat these photos onto my background paper. You don't have to mat your photos, but I do like the extra impact that that gives. It just helps separate my photos from whatever the background is. And I thought about using the vellum that came in the kit, but I've decided to use this gorgeous navy blue patterned paper. I absolutely love this paper, and it's a great paper for matting because it just gives you that little touch. Because the floral is so tiny, you really, even when you're matting, you get a sense of the fact that it is a floral. So for most of the pages that I make these days, I live stream with my patrons as I'm doing it. So if you see some comments, that's what that is. It's basically a real-time version of my process videos is over on Patreon. And tiaras over on Patreon can either watch live as I'm scrapping, or they can watch it later. I am matting this and just trimming it down. As you can see, I had to use my scissors for part of that because of the angles of the way that the photo collage works. It's not a perfect rectangle. I really love how this looks as a photo collage. Instead of it being lined up, it could have easily been aligned into a block, but having it offset like this gives the page a little bit more of a dynamic energy. These are photos of my father-in-law's 75th birthday. And I just wanted to make sure that I included photos. There were a lot of photos, but I wanted to include photos that included, I think I got everybody or almost everybody between these 3 photos that include people. And I also wanted to make sure that I got a shot of the decorated table with all the food. And there were lovely decorations behind with photos of them through the years. So now that I have decided on my paper, my background paper, and my matting, I'm going to put the majority of the paper away now and start to think about embellishments. Now, the cut files that come with this kit are amazing. I love these cut files. And so I pulled out, I had pre-cut these without really knowing what I wanted to do. And that's just because I do an unboxing every month. I think ideally you would cut the cut files as you needed them. But I think there's also something to be said for cutting them out ahead of time. I am slightly more likely to use them because they're already cut. And so, yeah, you can do it whichever way works for you. But this is something that I've never done before, which is pre-cutting my cut files. But I've been doing it ever since MercyTiara Kit Club started up, and I think that it's a good thing for me. So I do have those cloud files, those cloud cut files, all cut out in white cardstock, and I might use them. My first thought is that I would maybe tuck them in between or behind my photos. But then I decided, let's work on our title because I can't quite decide what I want to do about embellishing, but I do know that I want to call this one Birthday Bash. So I have just a very thin ruler here, and I'm spelling out the word birthday, and then I'll also put the word bash, and that will give me a chance to know just how big this title is going to be so that I can design around it. Because I didn't want to get too far with my embellishing and then realize that I wouldn't have enough room for my title, or, the title is something that I want to place at this point. So I am playing around with this font. Now, fonts that have both upper and lowercase letter sets in them, like this beautiful one from Pink Fresh Studio that came in the main kit, they give you an opportunity to really play with typography. And I'm going to do that with this title. I'm going to insert a couple of capitalized letters. And the reason I'm doing that is because I think I had run out of lowercase y, so I had to make the Y in birthday be lowercase. And so then I decided I would switch up a couple of other letters and make them also be uppercase. Now I am going to switch out that S for a capital S just so that there's some capitals in both the first and the second letter. And at this point, as you can see, I'm really struggling to have this title go along the ray or that arc there on the background paper and not look like it's crammed and crowded in. So I'm actually making it go below the line. So the line between the dark yellow and the lighter yellow, I'm having the title span those two, that divide of those two colors. And it's looking better every time I scooch it around. It looks a little bit better each time. And I'm at the point now where I kind of like it. It's still a little bit too squeezed up on the top left-hand corner, but I'm going to do something that will fix that shortly. So what I've decided is that I would really like to have an arrow that follows the same line of that arc of the background paper. And the best way for me to do that, I had my tracing paper handy for the last layout that I did where I recreated this background paper with a series of patterned papers. And so I decided that what I really needed to do was use this tracing paper to just get an arc that would go with the arcs that were already on the page. And now I'm going to find myself a piece of patterned paper that works with this background paper. And what I'm looking for is something that will bring some contrast. So I don't want yellows because it's going to be on the yellow background. But this orange will work really well because it picks up on, there's already orange on the page, but it's way over on the right-hand side. So by bringing this orange pattern paper, and it's just the B side of one of the patterns in the kit, It's even, I think it's a different manufacturer and everything, but it works really, really well with this arc paper, or I don't know what I'm calling it, hills or rainbows or what, but I guess I'm calling it arcs. I created the arrowhead I just winged it. I did not kind of plan it. I just kind of started to draw it, and then I just decided to see where my scissors take me with the arrowhead. So that's what I have there. I am going to outline it just to give it a little bit more presence on the page. This is a Faber-Castell Pitt pen, which I adore. It is in Danthrine blue, and I have it in super fine tip, and I just fixed the arrowhead there. It wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be, so I just tightened it up a little bit. And I just love that marker. It's great for when you don't want to necessarily outline in black. So that arrow is going to fit right below my title, and it mimics the other angles on the background paper. And if I scooch it down a little bit, then I can also pull down my letters and they won't feel so crowded up at the top. See how the T, the capital T in birthday is almost touching the top, and the same with the little dot from the I. I just need there to be a little bit more breathing space up there. So by placing my makeshift arrow, my DIY arrow, down a little bit, it gives me an opportunity to pull all of these letters down. And I'm also able to do a little bit more of a bouncing baseline because this is a celebratory page, and I like the idea of the title being not too lined up. A bouncing baseline also helps cover imperfections. It's very, very hard to line up letters in a straight line, let alone in a curved line. So having a bouncing baseline like this really helps make your title look a little bit more relaxed, but also it hides those imperfections. I'm pulling out a few of the items here that came in the embellishment kit. So those gold doilies and the gold enamel dots both came in the embellishment add-on. I also pulled out my confetti mix, which is in the main kit. Every month, most months, the MTK main kit comes with a custom confetti mix for embellishing, and I will definitely be using that. And the gold doilies, I think they look amazing. They're very celebratory, but also they really pick up on the gold tablecloth. And there were gold balloons. There was just a lot of gold in the decor for the party. And so I thought that the gold doilies would really pick up on that. Now, in another video, and I will link it in the information section above, but in another video, the one called Doting Over Karma, in that one, I used the mixed media kit from Dream Big. So I pulled out an old mixed media kit, and there was a Prima watercolor paint set in there. And I used it to paint all of the feathered chipboard pieces that came in the embellishment kit. And so I had a bunch left over and just popped them in to the two little places that it's like they're begging for embellishment clusters there on the two ends of that photo collage. I just poured a bunch of confetti mix around the title because I wanted it to look like a birthday bash, like the emoji that has the little noisemaker with the little confetti pieces coming out of it, or the popper, I guess maybe it is. And I wanted this title to really have that celebratory feel to it. And nothing is more celebratory than a big splash of sparkly, pretty confetti all over your title. So I dumped a whole bunch of it, and then I am selectively removing anything that is competing with the title or overlapping too much with one another. And the other thing that I'm doing here is any pieces that landed upside down. So these confetti pieces, they're sequin pieces, but they don't have the holes in them for the most part. A couple of them do have holes, but for the most part, but they are cupped. And also the crimped ones, there are some that have really interesting texture on them, but those ones do have a flatter side to them. So any ones that landed upside down so that they're kind of rocking on the page, I just flipped them over so that their flat side was down to make them a little bit easier easier to glue down. This confetti mix also has teensy tiny little flower bits in it too, which are really beautiful and add not only variety in terms of the size, because they're just so tiny, but also they have a bit of an iridescent shine to them and that little flowery shape, which is different than the shapes of everything else in the confetti mix. So it was Scott who designed this confetti mix. He usually is the one who picks the confetti each month, and he's doing a bang up job on it. He used to give me advice. I used to design them, and he would just kind of give his input. But his input was always better than my own ideas. So I usually am his helper now instead of the other way around, which is fun. It's nice to have him involved in some of the creative process of our business because he's very involved in the business part of our business. I am using my We Are Memory Keepers pickup stick. This is available in our shop because we do have this confetti mix with every single kit, and we also sell them separately. So we wanted to make sure that we have all of the accessories that will help you use our kits to the best of your abilities. So this pickup stick is a game changer. I was late to the party with this tool. A lot of other scrapbookers and card makers have been using this for a long, long time. And I always thought, oh, my fingers work just fine. But I tell you, this really changes everything. So if you have one and are not using it, dig it out of your stash. And if you don't have one, it's really worth the investment. So pick one up wherever you shop. As you can see, I'm just picking it up with my pickup stick, adding a dab of glue, and then sticking it down into the glue. And the nice thing about this sequin mix is that it has this really bold navy blue in it. And I just wanted to make sure that the navy blue pieces were not too close to the letters because I didn't want them to take away from the letters. So you'll notice that I selectively moved all of the navy blue ones so that they were either a little bit above the title or a little bit below the title. So any of the pieces that landed amongst the letters, I made sure that they were the pinks or the blues or the yellows. So that looks very celebratory. I'm very, very pleased with how that looks. The last time I used one of these gold doilies, I did crinkle up the edges of them and it looked so much better. I really love how it looks. So I'm going to crinkle the edges of this one just slightly. The other one I crinkled a lot. I think it was actually the layout that I've already linked, the one about doting over karma that uses the doily in that way. So you'll be able to see that in that video if you check out that link. And I'm just tucking those feathers so that they're popping out. And I wanted to make sure that there was, a total of 3. Well, there were only 3 left, so that was all that I could do. But I really like how they look. They add a bit of a vertical element to this page. And now I'm going to add some of these word stickers or phrase stickers that come in the Pink Fresh Studio cardstock stickers that come in I think that this was in the embellishment kit. It might have been in the main kit. I can't quite remember. But I'm going to take this one. It says favorite memory and I'm putting it there. This one says time to relax and unwind. And then I have this little one that says happy memories and I'm putting it right over top of a day to remember. So that we've got a variety, and I need something right here just to balance off. There's a sticker on every photo except for this one, so I'll be adding one to that top sticker as well. Before I do though, there's something that's not clear on this photo, so it's not clear what was in the box. So I'm just writing on the lid of the box, smile cookies, and then I just drew an arrow down to the little pile of paper bags. We were expecting, we brought those and we were expecting to open up the box and have all these smile cookies looking up at us, but they individually packaged each one inside of a little brown paper bag. So it was not nearly as impactful as we were hoping it would be. Oh, well, it's okay. The smile cookies still taste wonderful and are fun to eat once you open up the little brown package. So I have this other one. It says happy day to you and it's very birthday appropriate. So I was looking for another place to put it and I'll just put it on that photo that was lacking a a sticker. And I added another one that says made just for you because it was a birthday cake that Sam had made for Papa. So I thought that that was a good sticker to put right there. I'm going to do some journaling right on my background paper. It says Papa's 75th birthday was a blast. It was so nice to see everyone together to celebrate the big day. Happy birthday, Rob. And I'm not going to underline that journaling. I could have, and I often do, because I do feel like journaling feels more like it belongs when it is underlined, but I didn't this time. Now, this just goes up to the big day, and I needed to fill up that space, so that's why I put Happy Birthday, Rob. There's a little bit more space there, which I'm going to use a roller date stamp in a second, and then I'm just going to continue the confetti bits down here in the bottom corner. So if you look at the overall shape of this, you see the birthday bash and the arrow kind of follows that arc into the photos. And I just wanted it to continue down in the bottom right-hand corner as well. And I think that this just finishes off the page quite nicely. Some of my patrons, I believe, mentioned that that would be a good idea. And I think that I can't remember if I was planning to do that or if that was their idea, but it was a good idea. I like how it looks like that. So this is really most of the layout. I think oh no, hang on. I'm going to do one more thing, two more things. I haven't done that roller date stamp yet, but also let's look at these frames because I think that frames do a really great job of anchoring embellishment clusters on a page. And whenever I have some frames to use, which a lot of MTK kits come with frames because I like using them this way, I like to put them behind an embellishment cluster. It also introduces another color to the background, which is very, very warm. There's lots of oranges and pinks and yellows on that background. So introducing some blue into it helps tie in the blues and greens that show up in the confetti mix and in the stickers and in the feathers and whatnot. So I just wanted to introduce just a little bit more blue and green just to tie together the elements that were already on the page that were blue and green and to anchor those embellishment clusters on the background paper. So there's my roller date stamp. I just double stamped it there and it says May 4th, 2024. And with that, this page is done. There are some close-up photos coming up, but check out the video close-ups because sometimes metallic items and shiny items don't show up all that great in photos. Also, not all that great in video, but at least I can kind of move it around so that you can see the finishes and how it looks in different lights. I love adding those confetti pieces to the end steps of my project. It just finishes it off so beautifully. And I also have a little bit of extra footage in here where I just left in, this is something that I was doing with my patrons. I knew I had scrapbooked Papa's birthday before, but I just couldn't remember where or what the layout looked like. So I just went back into my stash and pulled out the other layout. Also, I also show a quick bit of the other layout that used the same background paper. So it was a double page, and I'm just gonna kind of look for that other page. I knew I did it somewhere, but I was going back further and further and thought, oh, I thought it wasn't that long ago, but it was quite a while ago. It was during our online birthday crop back in May. So this is the other page I did for his birthday, and this is the more detailed page. And as far as the sketch goes, it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. Before I share the photos, just a quick shout out to my Patreon supporters. These folks helped make this channel happen, so big thanks to all of them. I already mentioned some of the perks that patrons get. Head on over to the Patreon website if you're interested in becoming a tiara and seeing some of the behind the scenes and catching some of my real-time and live stream videos. Here is how those feathers look. I just love them. I did use Dorothy's little technique of doing a half and half feather with half pink and half yellow. I did that only for one of mine, but I really like the look. So make sure you check out Dorothy's videos as well. She's Scrapbooking Quebec. And here are some of the places that you can catch me. Our kit club is MercyTiaraKits.com, but you can catch me on social media under the tag MercyTiara in almost all of the different places that you can think of to find me. Leave me a comment below if you've got any questions or comments, and I will catch you next time. Have a great scrappy week.